What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode here at Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Sabiaga, and today we're interviewing another small business around the area. I'm super stoked to have him. He reached out to me. He had a business that he wants to represent that isn't as common around the area, and he has a unique product that he wants to share. And I got to hear about his story and what kind of impact and drive he wants to represent for this area. I'm super excited to have Victor Melchor here at Voice Podcast with his business Woodstock Farina.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. How are you doing today?
Good. It's a chilly night.
Yeah, I know. It's been a little colder here in Santa Paula, so it's super nice to be able to do this. We've been busy here at A+. So when I get these chances, it's kind of my therapy session too.
Yeah. Talking's good.
I was telling Victor that this might kind of come off like a therapy session, But overall, here at the podcast, I love being able to vocalize people's passions and heart when it comes down to their business. And to me, it just feels natural, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I felt like you had a very, vocal intention upon your business.
Yeah. I mean, the passion comes out for me when I start talking about food.
Oh, okay.
It's been my thing since I could remember, and it all started with my family. So, like, make good conversation with food.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I kind of wish we had. Something that me and you could be breaking bread right now. Having good.
You know what?
Just talking.
That would be nice. But I've had the chance to obviously enjoy some of your food. The last one I forgot what it was called, but it was kind of spicy.
Oh, yeah, the spicy meat. Yeah.
That
Jalapenos,
good. And something about
pepperoni.
the bread that I wish I could just share with you guys. God,
It's a sourdough starter bread.
Yeah. So you do a lot of pop-ups and also a lot of catering recently, right?
Yeah, a lot of private catering.
Yeah, tell us a little about your business and, how you got started with it.
So, Woodstock Farina, I founded Woodstock Farina in 2017. And it came out of a... how do you say, like, a lot of suggestions by clients. So I started working in Malibu, opened a grocery store out there with coworkers and everything, and it's very successful. But we had a pizza program there. A lot of clients would come, see the oven that we would be working, and the curiosity just hit them. Be like, hey, I have a Woodfire oven just for decoration. I never really used it. Could you come and check it out?
Nice.
Sure. One client after another, like, they just started coming up. It's like, hey, are you the pizza guy? And I'm
Nice.
like, I guess I'm the pizza
so.
guy. Yeah. So it actually started good at, going to these houses in Malibu and everything, using their ovens, making, pizza. It just started inspiring me because it's like, wow, this is really fun. It's like, like working the 14-hour shifts at Vintage and then going to do these private events, at people's homes. Like, wow, this is great. And sure enough, like, comments here and there from my guests, from my clients were, why don't you do something, why don't you open up a restaurant? Why don't you do this on your own? The restaurant for me was always like, do I really want something that's stable? Do I want something where the guests come to me?
Stationary.
Yeah. So it's like, what can I do that's different? It wasn't very popular as it is now, but when I first started, trying to look at different ways of how I can be mobile, it was about looking at the food trucks, getting an oven inside a food truck. I'm like, to me, it still feels a lot more, closed. Maybe that's not the route for me. And then I actually got inspired by this pizzeria company that's all mobile, founded 2014,
Nice.
out of Long Beach.
Okay.
So I drove countless times from Oxnard to Long Beach just to try this guy's pizza, just to try it, just to look at his setup, ask him questions. And he was super open about, talking to me and just
Right.
giving me feedback of like, when you start your business, do this, think about this, do that. And that was just like, to me, wow, that's super cool. Like
Right.
just the fact that someone's going to take time out of their day to be able to talk to someone, that's, and honestly trying to make, the way I say, like make a competitor, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But no, it wasn't looked at that way. And it's interesting because like now, fast forward to today, it makes a lot of sense because the pizza community is so big.
Yeah.
It's like one thing that it's super exciting to talk about, that like people don't understand like how big the pizza community is.
Absolutely.
Especially here in Ventura. Like, people know each other.
Yeah.
It's like there's such a tight knit group, and then expanded to bigger people. Like, the people of LA would hear about us down here.
Nice,
We would hear
nice.
about people from San Diego, and then we would come together at different, festivals, at different conventions, and we be high fiving each other and everything. Hey, how's it going? Everything cool?
Nice.
Like, just talking pizza, and it's super, super. It's a great community to be part of, and that's one thing that my first sense of it was talking with this fellow chef from Long Beach.
I love that.
And he was the one that kind of like threw in the sparks to be like, we're bigger than just this.
Wow.
It's more to this.
Yeah, and I would imagine too, because a lot of people's perception or first impression of pizza is obviously New York or Italian pizza, and or you go to a fast food like Domino's or something like
Yeah.
that. But now, especially in Ventura County, as the diversity of food has increased,
Yeah.
I would say, like there has been more pop-ups
Yeah, yeah.
of like different styled food. So
Yeah. Yeah, of different style food pop-ups, but then also pizza in itself.
Yeah.
It's like that alone is amazing. It's what people sometimes need to, I wish it's easier to show instead of explaining, but
Yeah.
like there is no such thing as bad pizza, unless it's undercooked. But other than that, like, it's like, no, there's no such thing. It's because as the person giving you the pizza, it's him, like, or herself or whoever it is putting their soul on a plate for you.
Okay, wow, I love that.
And it's how they want to make it.
Yeah, yeah.
You got I've tried pizzas from home bake bakers, that would make pizzas at their house,
Right,
and then just give you a slice. Whoa, this is awesome. I've tried pizzas from conveyor belts, like mobile conveyor belts, and it's like, whoa, this is like, this is pretty cool. Fellow pizzas that are Woodfire as well. It's like, this is different. Like, I have my favorites as well, and it's like when people ask me like, oh, you like your pizza more than like, do you set the standard? I'm like, no, and I think, and not to be like, one of those like, oh, I got the best one in town, but it's like,
That's okay, bro. You could be a little cocky. You could be a little confident. Just kidding.
I do believe in my product.
That's good. You gotta have that.
But let me say that I love it to know that there's people out there that understand the concept of bread making, of pizza making. And it's like, those are the people you want to talk to and just get inspired and just go back and forth with ideas.
And that's what I love about, I think I would say, especially since I got involved in social media, I started to notice that there was more, and I'm sure this has happened before social media has happened, but it only spotlighted or helped us see that there was more conversations towards different topics, industries, like, at the time, a lot of stuff that we knew now wasn't as present before social media became a bigger thing.
Yeah.
But like now it's becoming, there's different types of like drinks, there's different types of pizza, there's different types of the way you make this on barbecue. So for me, that has always been pretty interesting. Now, obviously you have your own touch to that, right? Where did you come from, just out of curiosity?
So I was born in Oaxaca, Mexico.
Okay.
Came to the country at 2 years old.
Okay.
And with my family, food was a huge part of life to
Yeah,
us.
okay, good. I was just about to ask, how has that culture influenced your style? Because typically we get a bunch of our uniqueness from our background,
Yeah.
right? So talk us a little about like how food has played a role in, from your culture.
A lot. It actually has taken I want to say like a front seat in in me navigating and creating my menus and stuff. My catering menu, when it's a Woodfire theme, at least where I'm from in Mexico, uh, we have a Woodfire kitchen.
Okay,
And that's
wow.
how I remember the flavor of the comal over the wood fire, like the chiles being toasted, the homemade tortillas being made. Even when they make mole, oh my god, it's like
Bro, you're getting me hungry just talking about it. And
it's
I haven't
it's
eaten dinner yet.
it's like so much
Why do I
like
do this to myself?
it's like
Sorry.
so much flavors.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, that it's just coming here to the States, especially to in LA, in California itself. It's like a huge melting pot of so much
I agree.
influence of different flavors. Like it's like
That's why people come here, Ventura County.
it's just
Or
just
SoCal.
great.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, to me, with when I'm making my pizzas, I'm like, you know what? I'm making them with my sazon, like with my taste, like with how I would do, like my for the spicy, for instance, like adding the chiles, like I toast them my way,
Love
giving
that.
it that spice that's different.
Yeah.
The
Experimenting a little bit. Kind of like
yeah.
a scientist, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I have to show you why I decided to go into this and put like going back to what I said. I'm putting my heart, my soul into the plate that
Yeah.
I'm giving you, and I
Yeah.
stand behind it. And if I didn't believe in what I'm doing, then I just wouldn't be in this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why you would get into business. Speaking of which, has anybody in your family ever been in business, or are you the first? And
No, actually, no, I actually do come from an entrepreneurship.
oh, okay, okay,
Of people in my family.
Okay.
Back home, they were back home. My family was a huge. They had a butchering. They were butchers, so they had a huge company of distribution. Of the meats and everything to the different mercados in Oaxaca. Coming here to the States, and a little of the history, or our history there, but coming to the States, I remember when we moved out to Santa Clarita, like the closest thing for us to Oaxaca was in the center of LA, and it
Okay.
was like a small little place too. And it's like we had to drive all the way there to either pick up quesillo, pick up like any type of like the meats that were ours, like el tasajo, la cecina, el chorizo oaxaqueño. It's different. It's not the same as saying like, oh, let me go get a like from the grocery store carne asada. It's like, no, that's different. So we had to go travel that far just to get the food
Specific,
that we
ingredients, yeah.
that we felt comfortable with. Even mezcal, like mezcal too, is like you don't realize like how strong mezcal
Can you
is.
educate? I'm not too familiar with what mezcal is.
Mezcal, like for us, mezcal is our drink of trade. Like it's mezcal is Oaxaca,
Okay.
and people here will be like, oh, yeah, I drink tequila. It's no, two different things.
Oh.
Two different things.
Oh.
Mezcal is like it's life of its own. Everything revolves around it. It's like sitting at the dinner table, like back home, with the appetizer would be, here's your bottle of mezcal. Like open up the
What is
open
alcohol?
up- yeah, it's alcohol. But just open it up and just start like eating with your little shot of mezcal. My grandma, who's 78, would just, when she's sitting us down at the dinner table and stuff, bring her little bottle of mezcal, just gives us a shot. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this is the opening.
I'm coming to your next dinner party, bro.
Yeah. And it's like, even that for me, I have a dish on my menu for Woodfire for the appetizers
Okay.
that are mezcal lime shrimp. It's like
Wow.
it's involved that I have to bring it, to me, and make it. I'm experimenting with a different type of tomato sauce that's gonna have an infusion of
Oh.
mezcal. So in one of
Dang, you gave me excited over here,
yeah,
bro.
in one of the in my next pop up, that could be a special, but it is something that I want to start incorporating slowly more and more of my traditional food into what I'm doing.
That's awesome. And how do you communicate that to your customer? Just out of curiosity, as a marketer myself, I'm always curious. Like, hey, how, obviously we come with different uniqueness.
Yeah, so now we do a lot more of the posting of like the weekly of the menu that we're going to be
social
running.
media?
Yeah, we use Instagram a lot for when it comes to interacting, talking to our guests, and just posting where we're going to be on a monthly schedule. You could see where we're at and stuff, and then day or 2 days prior to the pop up of the day, we'll post the menu up.
Nice.
And people have already an idea of like what we're going to be selling that day.
Yeah, and I imagine you've been around for a while to work with other businesses like breweries, right? Where you're probably touching their customers to show them a little something.
Yeah, no, that's that was the beauty that when I first started in 2017, that was the whole beauty that I loved, that like the brewery industry, like the head brewers of other places would know each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's the brewer of of over here. Oh, he's the head brewer of over here. And they would just connect and work with each other. And that's what I loved, like that co-op of that meeting, coming together and stuff. And it's like how food can do the same thing with them, connect. Like,
It's true. A lot of the food restaurants around the area most communities are very close and tight knitted.
yeah.
And I like that.
So that's what it's all about. It's like it's about being part of the community, and it's about just being open and just being happy when you're doing something.
Absolutely. And going back into the question, sorry if I skipped it.
No.
You having that experience, or at least a taste of seeing other people run the business, was it natural for you to start your own, or did you have a little bit of like doubts or questions?
Oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of doubts.
Yeah. Okay. Let's.
So
how did that go for you?
So first of all was having to find my equipment. So it's not like I can just go to someone and just say, hey, build me a pizza oven on top of a trailer. Luckily, I was able to find someone out of Dallas, Texas, that was able to customize the trailer that I wanted with the specs I needed.
Right.
And sure enough, it's like, all right, now the trailer's getting done. What else do I need? Kind of a thing. And going back to the chef, the pizza chef that helped me out, talking to him and just, getting feedback here and there. He gave me a lot of good pointers of what to buy, what not to buy to start off first. But the biggest thing he said was, to me, that I hold true, is whatever it is that you're going to sell, be true to it. Like believe in that.
Oh, for sure.
If you're going to be just like, nah, I'm just going to try it out, see what happens. And, as I'm trying it, the guests or the customers will be my guinea pigs as well. So it's like, like, you don't want to do that. Like, to me, it was like, no, if I'm going to sell something, it's because I stand behind it already. That's going to be what I'm going to be selling. And I've seen it happen,
I love that.
I've seen it happen plenty of times, actually, where it's like someone that's trying to open up a business,
Right.
they use the first two pop-ups, 3 pop-ups where they're actually selling their product. But in that case, they're selling it, to guests and, oh, give me your feedback, and all that stuff, but still charging you.
Well, they're selling,
Yeah.
Well, what they should do is probably give out a sample of that and see how they like it.
Yeah.
Sell a food that they do like. And then, if that other sample does get a hit, hey, we'd love to, create this into a product.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing that he really, really, it got to me when he told me that. He's like,
That's a good foundation.
Stand behind whatever you're going to sell. It's not going to be like, come in 1 week, it's this way. The next week you come to see me, it's different because I decided to change things.
Yeah,
Like,
that's actually a very good advice for people who are looking to start a business and or looking to launch a new product. Is if you're gonna start selling something, make sure that it's solidified. Right?
yeah. And the biggest thing also when it came to it was understanding the financial aspects of running it, knowing your food cost, your labor, your understanding how those numbers affect what you're selling. You should like from a chef's perspective, like a standpoint, I mean, you should be able to ask, a chef at a restaurant, like, hey, what's your, like, how much are you paying to create this dish? You should be able to know that.
Yeah.
So when someone asks me, like, hey, is this business profitable? I could clearly tell that, like, the individual, yes, it's profitable, or no, it's not. But I have the numbers that know that.
How long did it take you? I just gotta ask because most business owners or people who decide to start a business don't usually, start to track those numbers when it comes down to how long did it take for you to realize the importance of that?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the people I was surrounded with. My partner, she was very business savvy.
Okay.
So
Love that. That's always a supportive
huge.
role.
But when it comes to it, the first thing ever is writing yourself a business plan. It's so important.
Yep.
It's so important. Like, to have a business plan of where you're going to be in the next 5 years, not tomorrow, not the next. Like you're thinking about this in long term.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's a good way to guide you to take those steps needed to get to where you want to go. And one of those elements important enough to a business plan is being able to understand the financial aspect to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could be able to tell you how much pizza dough, one dough ball, is going to cost me to make.
That's good.
Including my labor, including, the wood that I'm burning for the oven.
For sure.
You should be able to know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having those numbers really track to the point so that you can really just know, hey, how much are you going to be making?
Yeah.
As a business. I mean, I guess if you aren't going to track it, maybe you might not be good in business.
And it helps you too in the long way. I mean, the long run, because it's like if it comes down to going to a place where if you want to expand or do something bigger, and you want to get a loan in the aspect with the bank, that's good stuff just to bring with you. That the bank will look at and be like, oh wow, this he knows or she knows what they're doing. It's like we feel more comfortable lending them that money.
Yeah. It's always good, especially if you're going from a loaning or looking for investors, having something a historical evidence for people to look at, engage, and say, hey, is this business worth working with or partnering up with or investing in?
Yeah, and it's my thing where it's like, from when I started it till now, I still go back to my original business plan.
Good.
I still go back to it. I still check to make sure that I'm like
you're on
roughly
track.
on track to where I need to be today. And it's like, you know what?
Hey, voice community. Quick commercial break. Are you running a business and you're looking for a trusted partner to help you brand your business effectively through merch, designs, and branding? I want to introduce you guys to our partners, A+ Branding, a custom printing shop that takes care of all your branding needs. Located in Santa Paula, California, A+ Branding specializes in custom t-shirts, hats, stickers, banners, deco, buildings, or window decals. They do it all. They've helped me a lot personally, ensuring that I am representing my business properly, and I recommend you do too. They have a website that you can design your custom items directly to their online store. You can hop on their site, create your design, and place your order in just a few clicks. Whether you need a single item or a bulk order for your business or event with custom stickers, shirts, or a banner for an event, or even embroidered uniform for your team, they got you covered. On top of that, they'll ship your order straight to your door. You can use the promo code VOICED to get 10% off your first orders over $100 to get started. You can head over to their website at www.aplusbranding.com and start designing today. Now back to the show.
And it's like, you know what? It comes to time where it's like, I need to update it.
Absolutely.
Create
add stuff to it.
Yeah. Because now it's like, oh wow, I've exceeded where I really wanted to be.
Yeah.
So how can I come with it? You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what else
exactly.
can I do with this?
Exactly. Did you have a mentor that also helped you with that? As
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
I
Actually,
mean, especially with the pizza community, I imagine.
yeah. No, it's well, the chef, like I mentioned, uh the pizza chef, that, he was able to give me a lot of great advice, but also actually a couple of my managers at where I was working at,
Mm-hmm.
still at the grocery store, um they were super super excited about the ideas I was just coming up with and stuff, and they're like, yeah, let me look at your numbers.
Hmm.
And sure enough, it's like it's funny because like uh this individual, like, it feels like the only way to speak to him was with numbers.
Huh.
That's the only way like he understood stuff. And sure enough, like I was trying to explain like the whole concept of the business and stuff like that, and he's just But then I'm like, you know what? Here, let me show you the like
Right.
the numbers of like what I'm
Say the breakdown.
And he's, oh, okay, it's a kid. Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah. So it was funny, but it was great advice because he was able to like look at it and actually ask the questions sometimes that are just like, okay, do you think you can do better? Do you think we can fine tune, tweak some numbers here, look at this differently? Like, what if you, do this instead of this? I'm like, great, and those questions too, where I was like not necessarily looking for an answer, but
For
looking
sure.
of like, okay, I'm kind of lost right now. How can I guide myself back to the path I need to go?
Yeah, a reflective, objective approach, right?
And it was great just being able to talk to him and just, get some feedback and then be able to get to where I need to be. And the only thing I could say is what I am doing is paying off. That from 2017 till now,
Yeah, 7 years in.
we're still going, and we're planning on next year, 2025, to be a big year for
I
us.
love that.
So it's like, wow, it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, for me, going back into what you mentioned about the numbers, it came to me naturally to realizing that I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? Operational. I look at business like equations and math. And it's been a weird transition for me recently because I always thought I was more of a creative, right? Because I always thought, oh, that's why I got the name Charles Creates, right? Because I loved creating. I did love creating, also because it was such a new aspect for me. But then when I combined it with my creativity, it made a lot of sense. So I just got to ask, for you as a business owner, do you consider yourself someone more logical and, operational, kind of like what I was talking about, or more of a creative kind of, experimenting, or a little of both, or where would you position yourself as?
I would probably lean more towards the numbers kind of thing,
Interesting.
to
Okay.
look at that aspect.
Okay. Did it flow naturally to you when you started learning about it?
No, it did not.
I had to ask.
It did not. But I had a very good idea about it.
Okay.
And the reason why, because it's like, I've been fortunate enough. Every kitchen position I've ever held has either been as the executive chef
Okay.
or get promoted to the top chef.
But is that because you knew more about the cooking or the actual operational
The
approach?
business operation. And it was because I was able to connect with the owners and actually explain to them the financials of the kitchen aspect
Wow.
today.
Okay.
And everything
believe
goes into,
Yeah.
like, everything gets, like, the restaurants that really look at their numbers, you could tell which ones they are.
Yeah.
Because they put a lot of emphasis on what they can give you to a plate. And it's like, when you see a plate just so elegant, just so nice, like, someone was literally thinking about that plate.
For sure.
In numbers. Someone is sitting in there looking at the plate
that's
and
crazy.
bringing it all down and saying, like, how much in labor did they
Like,
cost to make this?
If we serve that to all the families and we have this many chairs and this many hours in a day, then we calculate the number.
It's super.
interesting.
It's super. I learned that through the years of experience of working. I have over 20 years of being in the restaurant industry.
For sure.
And sure enough, it's like the one thing to me that's always caught the attention, like of looking at the executive chefs, looking at what they were doing was, why aren't these guys working? Why aren't these guys like, kind of like the inside joke, like the executive chef doesn't do anything in the kitchen and stuff. True, they're not in the kitchen, cooking with you, but there is a bigger role to them. And they are the ones that are going to be at the end of the day telling the owners why the restaurant's failing and why it's succeeding.
This is actually some more next level conversational shit, because the way I see this is that a lot of people who get into business, yes, there's the idea that your business can blow up, but really once you start to realize how to grow your business is understanding the metrics that you need to track in order to see how your business grows or loses, and I think that conversation needs to be in people's conversations more.
I really do think that it's a very important aspect, and I can go on and just talk about that aspect of it because I personally,
it's your background.
I love it. Like I enjoy it. It's like I love talking about it, especially with accountants, being able to talk to them and just like being like, say like, this is how much it's costing me to make this. Like, how much am I spending on, on the labor, on everything aspect, and everything is taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's why it I can be able to make, it gives me the opportunity to make those decisions better, to say like,
nice,
yes, let's invest and buy this bigger equipment.
Yes.
Let's buy this. Nah, we still got good use out of this, so we'll do this. But it gives more of a, it gives you more of a support to say that you pulled the trigger and made the right choice, the right decision in buying or investing in something.
Okay. Now that I got a little bit of a background of your background, right? I gotta ask, I mean, obviously building a business is way different because, you're taking on more roles now and you're building the vision and you're putting on many hats, literally, right? How did that skill set and experience you had with, working in the kitchen for 20 years transition into your business as of now?
I guess so for me, the hardest thing was how I tell everyone, it's like, I'm a back of the house kind of a guy.
Okay.
Like I love being in the back of the house, not interacting with people.
Okay.
It's like, let me talk to the cooks. Let me talk to everyone. I'd rather be back there. Boom. But doing this business, as you mentioned, like having to put on many hats, one of the biggest things is the customer service aspect.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I really, really had to learn fast because it's like I've had this sometimes, like, I had people come up and actually ask me straight up, like, are you upset? Like, you look upset. It's like, no, I'm sorry. I promise I'm not. Sometimes that's just like with the heat of the moment of like working in the kitchen. That's sometimes how I get, but it's not.
It's just natural.
For me, it's just natural. But it's like, okay, those are like small little things. Especially now working with what I'm doing, that I'm open. That like I believe in the open space kitchen where it's like, people. I like the whole reason behind my concept is because I want my clientele, the guests, to see the kitchen, to see us in action, to see us working. So it's like, no, things need to change. It's in that aspect. And one of those things was like the customer service. Like even meeting and greeting, like people that are walking past us, there's nothing wrong with like a simple like, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you and all that stuff. Like just interacting with guests. And now I love it a lot more.
Okay.
Like anyone that walks by us as we're like cranking stuff down, like, hey, nice to see you again. Like, or people that are leaving, hey, have a good day. It's like just it's that aspect. It was like so fun of being able to interact with the client in that on that point. But it's that's things that I just had to learn again,
Okay.
or better yet, just learn for the first time. Because
Were you would you consider yourself like less social before?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean
uh,
you're behind the scenes, you know.
most definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
I was the one that like rolled up, like put on
Mm-hmm.
my knife bag, walked to the main door, directly to the kitchen, close that door, and not come back out until the shift was over. And
I
it's like,
I think for me it's the opposite. I had to I naturally learning being a communicator.
yeah,
It flowed for me to be social more often, and I found myself maintaining a really good positive energy as far as conversational and just overall work pace. And transitioning into being by myself, I get really distracted easily, because I I liked having that social environment around me.
yeah,
So now I'm like, okay, well, how do I be more operational? So I got
yeah.
curious about like how to increase or grow certain things in parts of businesses. So that actually transitioned to me very smoothly as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that I think that's interesting. How you shared that. You coming from a kitchen, now you have to learn how to be more social in a way, right? So that means you're kind of like overseeing. You like overseeing your operations,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
like seeing how your business is, where it's going. You have a direction. You assign people certain things that they should be looking at, right? How are you besides the social aspect? I mean, how are you balancing some parts in your business that you found weakness in, or do you have any weaknesses?
I definitely I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I 100% have them, but it's like I appreciate them because
Love
it's
that.
like they're like it's the motivation that keeps you going. It's like,
Yeah.
how can I get to it and fix it? Like, what can I do in small little details here and there? And one of the, at least to me, was my biggest thing was, if I'm having a bad day, it's like wearing my what's that expression? You wear your feelings on your sleeve, where
Oh, I've
where
heard of
people
that.
see. Yeah, it's like that's me.
Mm.
Like if I'm having a bad day, everyone knows, and it's
Everybody
like,
get out.
yeah. But to me, it's like one of those. When I first started, again, a lot of things I was learning as I was doing every event.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things that I learned the hard way was understanding my oven.
Okay.
And that's because it's like when you're working at someone's house with their oven, it's there. It's not moving around.
Yeah.
When you're working at a restaurant, it's like there, you can control it easy. It's like,
But now you have it mobile.
but it's, yeah. So you're on the road. Everything takes into effect. Everything. The weather from being outside to the type of wood, just to make sure if you didn't get if you didn't get unlucky and you got wet wood, it's like it takes a lot longer to control that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The type of wood too. It's like everything takes, like, makes a difference. You have to understand that, like, if you're working outside, especially with for me, with the Woodfire oven, with my fresh dough and everything, I take everything into consideration. I look at the weather when I'm doing pop-ups or looking and seeing like what the 7-day forecast is going to be, and that affects how I make my dough.
Right.
Because I'm sitting outside, it's going to be outside, so everything is going to take, like, I either have to know that my dough needs to be like with a heavier set of, like, a moisture, or less, to be able to get stretched out. If it has, if it proved, plenty of time in advance to give it, the structure that I want.
For sure.
Everything takes into effect. So that's one thing that I learned the hard way, is like understanding that, but then also my oven.
Okay.
Like knowing that I'm burning too much wood, that the oven's just burning without nothing in there. It's like, oh snap. It's like I threw a pizza in there. I turned around for like 2 seconds and it's already, like, burnt.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we have to redo again.
Okay.
It's so it like all that stuff is just things that I learned. And one of the biggest things was like knowing how to ask for help.
Okay.
I
So how did you ask for help?
honestly, it was like, so with me asking for help was asking people that been with me for, I have to give shout outs to everyone that's been working with me for, like, making the reality, making, this company grow and continue to succeed, because they are awesome. Like all my staff members, like my past staff members and my future, like, like my current ones, because people that have been with me, like when we started the business, they followed me from my beginning years of working at Long Beach, then moving to
Wow.
Malibu, and they followed me all the way there.
That's
And then
amazing.
when I said, "Hey, I might be stepping away to start my own thing," we'll come down to
Oh
help you.
wow.
It's like, oh, okay. So for the longest, I've had people just so close, like coming and helping me out, like family members. My cousin was a huge help as well. My partner, everyone were just helping out whenever they can, and however working their full time jobs as well. So it's like, okay, we're getting this going. We're getting slowly, and for me, it was like hard to ask for that help.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, they know me as Victor. He can do it.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone can do it, he can do it. Like how many people we need to cook for X amount? Yeah. Oh, he can do it easily.
Okay.
And it's like, I guess to me, it was just more of like, how can I let them down?
Ah.
Like, how can I ask for help and them like seeing like, you need help from like, so it was more of a pride thing.
So you wore that expectation.
So I had to let that go. And ever since I was able to ask, like, it's funny. I this one of the kids that, like, I call him kid, but one of the young adults that works with me, like this talented chef. I have to give shout outs to him, Richie. But I think if I did the math right, he's 12 years younger than me.
Okay.
I ask him for advice.
Good. Yeah.
Because it's like, that's how I think that's just,
Yeah, I imagine
should
also
be.
he's in the front line as well,
Yeah.
right? So he's
But
in there
he-
working, so he's experimenting.
yeah, and he understands, like from a perspective, it's like to see his mind work, like how dough, pizza works. It's fun to talk to him and just ask him for his opinion.
Nice.
And like, hey, what do you think about this? And he's honest, and he tells me straight up, like, I don't think it'll work. Yeah, we could try it and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, why? And he'll give me his ideas, and I'm like, you know what you told me right now were pretty valid points. I'm like,
Alright,
things
yeah.
that I didn't think about, but I'm like, oh, great. But then it's funny, like, afterwards I'm thinking, I'm like, I love that chemistry that I'm like, I can be able to turn to someone and ask for that type of advice.
That's good.
And
that sounds like growth.
yeah, and to me, I feel very happy that I can do that. Even my marketing, the marketing aspect to the company back then, it was like, I know it's important, but I just, to me that wasn't my thing. But luckily, someone came on board that started helping me with that, and she's done incredible job with, getting the menus out, getting the information
Love
to the customer
Love
first,
that.
more than anything, and being able to be like, we can make this happen, and it's streamlined the catering process,
Nice.
my order taking, everything super simple, and it's like, wow, it's like, it's taken this long, but I'm just happy that I've seen growth in myself
Yeah.
too, to be able to say like, yes, let's
I love that. That's
get this
growth.
going.
Would you? I mean, I've met her too. I mean, would you even?
Oh, shout out to Bree. Shout out to Bree.
Shout out Bree. She's very nice. I've worked with her, or not worked with her, but at least I've associated with her a while back
Yeah.
with our previous like work history. But would you even say like she's kind of like an extension of you? I mean, you say you're more logical, but then she's able to put things together and streamline it.
I think everyone is.
I love that.
I think everyone that works currently that works with Woodstock Farina is an extension of not me, but the company.
Okay, that's fair.
They know where the company could go,
Mm.
and each of them has, in a way.
Yeah.
Even the players I haven't mentioned, I haven't forgotten about you, Josh. You know, Luke up north, I haven't forgotten about you guys. But even them, like, they would do things that I'm like, wow, thanks guys. Like, get the name out there, talk to, you know, wherever they're at, like, you know, get like just market like ourselves. And I'm like, wow, thanks for doing that. And it's like, no, man, I do it because I believe in what we're doing. It's like,
I love that.
Like, you know, I wouldn't bring, you know, if we're doing, you know, lunches for someone at work, I wouldn't bring you guys if, like, you know, if I didn't believe and say like, I work with these guys, but I don't want them here serving food, you know, like, but
no, I just
no,
work them, guys.
yeah, no, it's like, and that's cool. And
That's a blessing to have, especially
Yeah.
you know, having teams, you know, people who believe in the vision
Yeah.
and identify with that direction as well. You know?
yeah, and it's like, that's what it's about. And sometimes it's like, it needs to literally bite you in the ass for you to realize that.
Okay.
And that's where I'm like, you know what?
When you say bit you in the ass, did you just kind of like stumble upon it, or did you had it already and realize, oh shit, I have a really dope team? Or
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. I really, the people that I've been with before that's helped me out were family, you know, friends and everything, chipping in their time and being able to help me. I think I could clearly say that this time around, like everyone that's on board right now are actual people that, you know, I don't want to call them employees, but they are
team members.
true fundamental members of the team, and that I truly do appreciate. And it's like there's a super cool picture that I actually cherish over everything else, but this picture of the team. This year we did our first annual. This year we got called to participate in Los Angeles, the second annual Los Angeles Pizza Festival.
Right.
That was held in April, I believe, in LA. And it's all these top players of the pizza game. You got Apollonia in there. You got Square Guys. You got, you know, Patina from out here. Like, these are heavy people, you know, in the pizza game. And I get a call saying like, hey, would you like to participate, you know, on our Sunday lineup? And I'm like, whoa, like like who's participating? Here's a list of everyone. And it's like, whoa, among these giants? I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah, you know, like I can do that. I'm just letting you know right now that we're like a small, like, like, you know, trailer. It's like, you know, how many people? Oh, we're expecting like roughly like 2,000 to 3,000 people walk by. And I'm like,
it's regular.
I'm like, again, we're like a small trailer. And he's like, no, that's exactly what we want. We want we have the restaurants, but then we want like a small little, like, you know, mobile catering pizzas. Sure. I'd love to do it. So planning for it, everything, you know, but more than anything for me, it felt more as a honor to go, not just with the company, but going to LA amongst these giants and say we're from Oxnard. You know,
And what does
like,
that mean to you?
To me, that's huge. That, like, you know, we're bringing our style, we're bringing our sass, like our vibe from Oxnard to LA to compete
it's an
right
honor.
here, you know? And I made it clear, like, you know, when you guys write the name of the company, I want him like bold writing from Oxnard.
Love that.
So
I'll make sure to tell them.
so when people would come up to us and to top it off, my pizza that we did that year, that we did this past year, was an al pastor pizza.
Oh shit, that's on my mind right now, bro.
So everyone else was doing, you know, their traditional Italian flavored pizza.
Yeah.
Nah,
Nah, we're doing it.
We're gonna
Doing a
we're gonna show
cultural
you.
style.
And sure enough, even my decorations, I made
Really?
sure to decorate that table with like, you know, my Mexican heritage, like, you know, with that Latin.
That's
feel,
some real
like,
pride. That's some real pride right there, man.
yeah, and I even started bouncing like bumping the cumbias in the back.
Okay.
You know, like took the speaker and
So
just started.
cumbia is a part of your culture?
Oh, I'll listen to cumbias
Oh,
or I'll
okay,
listen
okay.
to any type of
Gotcha,
Mexican music.
gotcha.
But like,
I'm sorry, I'm not.
no,
educated.
but for
That's cool though.
Yeah, but just for dancing
Yeah,
wise
okay,
and getting
okay.
like in the rhythm and stuff, like I was
man.
busting that up in the back,
Yeah.
and people were like I was attracting attention. They're like, oh, what are these cats doing over here? And sure enough, when they were coming out, and they're like, you know, oh, what's this? This is
Going
not,
on
you know,
here?
this is not your traditional pepperoni,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
margarita. No, we made it, you know. I marinated the al pastor meat myself.
Wow.
You know, the salsa, tomatillo salsa,
Nice.
I made myself. The crema fresca, everything when it came to, you know, making this pizza available for you guys. We pickled our own red onions for this event. So when we garnished it, topped it off, that's how it was. And it was like us, a feeling of like a piece of us were going there to represent and showing, you know, the community that's like, these cats can cook pizza out here, but it's like they can cook in
Yeah.
a different style of pizza.
I love that.
That's unique, and that's what I wanted to do.
And obviously, I think kudos to you for being, you know, represented in that community. I think you fully deserve it based on what I'm hearing. I mean, I'm sure anybody who's working as hard, you know, should be able to be accommodated for that. And, you know, with this pizza community, I mean, you know, a lot of people aren't as educated or informed about it. I mean, what do you see that other people are not seeing? What are they missing out on?
Honestly, it's all about the connecting, like the connections that you're having with different people. And again, going back to this this festival that we did, this is a festival where I told you it's like you had your restaurants, their booths, right? Like giving out their samples.
Yeah.
But then you notice at their booth, like, you know, the restaurant name, everything. But then you notice certain people behind those booths working. And you're like, wait a minute. Aren't you so-and-so with your own company, you know, doing your own mobile thing?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
you know, are you working at this restaurant?
Yeah.
No, I'm here helping them out.
Okay.
And that's how all of them were.
Nice.
Like, yeah, the restaurant was there with their, you know, representing their name and everything. But they had other people from other companies that they were doing, because that's how it is. It's just all connecting. And
Very tight-knit.
and then sure enough, we had people come up that knew, you know, either myself, knew Richie, knew, you know, whoever was there. And, you know, hey, what's going on? And just started conversation like nothing. And just, oh, let me check out your oven. You know, oh, what are you running at? And it's like such a tight-knit group. And it's like, and it's not just local here. It's across the country.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
you had people fly out from New York that, you know, knew people from, you know, from Patina, that knew people from, I just lost the name of the, but, you know, they knew these players.
Yeah.
Important cats. And it's like, when they host their, like, you know, festivals in Chicago, when they do, like, you know, Florida and stuff, these top players fly out there too,
For sure.
you know, and it's like everyone knows each other, and that's what it's all about.
It's almost like everybody has that community has their own language. Huh?
Yeah, and it's never like turning someone away with like telling you like, nah, man, I ain't gonna help you kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's good.
No, we had people come up to us and actually ask us like, hey, what temperature are you running your oven at to get the type of pizzas here?
For sure.
And just being able to talk to that was like amazing, because it's like, I got a lot of feedback on these top players that were like, dude, you have good pizza, but you can do this. What do you think about like that? I'm like, dude, that's awesome. But it's just that set of eyes that it's like they've been in the game so long.
It's very collaborative. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that they're able to do that. And then we got invited a couple times to go to LA to a couple of pop-ups to be like, hey, you guys want to come and collab over here? Like, you know, do something with us, you know. But I'm like, man, driving to LA, I love to do that.
Invite me next time.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
We got the series that we're interviewing locals.
Yeah.
You know, so if you get us out there, we'll interview those.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, definitely. But that's one of the goals that we kind of want to do for 2025, to be able to do more collab pop-ups with our neighbors, you know, from LA, go down to San Diego, go further up, you know, just being able to do that.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I think you know, when you say this collaborative community of people who enjoy talking about pizza and just enjoying it all, I mean, it sounds like it's a whole new world.
Yeah. No, it's a whole new world, but it's actually been there for a good
sure.
minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is interesting. It's been there for a good minute, and it just like again, I'm just so happy that now you see a lot more pizza pop-ups. And not just here in Ventura County, but just
everywhere.
across the board. And that to me is exciting. You know, that to me is great. So when people's like, "Oh, did you hear about the new pizza guy?" Yeah, that's to me. I take that as like that's awesome. That's what it's about.
Good,
you know, it's like more people coming out to do it,
enjoy it, but also like for other people to try different things.
Yeah, because it's like no matter what, it's like what you do is going to be unique to you.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm going to give you, I'm going to guarantee you're not going to find at any other pizza, you know, restaurant or any other pop-up because the way it's cooked, the way it's made and everything is culture, just unique. Yeah. And that's what it is.
And also, I mentioned this many times in other podcasts with other food business owners, is that you may have similar products, quote unquote, that are styled and cooked differently with their own uniqueness, right? But customers aren't just gonna go to one, you know, restaurant. They're not gonna be like, "Hey, I'm only gonna go to that person for pizza." Dude, there's so much, you know, there's so much abundance, and I think for small businesses, for businesses in general, who you know have different flavors or different ways of making things up, there's so much ways to explore. There's an abundance.
Yeah, you know? Definitely, so. And not just that, but also their background, which makes it that like so much better to understand, like to understand, to taste, to actually see like, wow, why did they put that in? Like once you understand their background, you're like, I see it. I could see it. I could see why that flavor is there. You know?
Yeah. I that's actually one of the things I enjoy about food is that you get a little taste of that culture. You know, so I prefer that mom and pop shop to kind of see how it is rather than the traditional, you know, franchisee or you know corporate, just because I feel like they've expanded where okay everybody has it, but like there's all these little uniqueness, you know. So again, that's why I love about my hometown out here in Ventura County, just because there's so many things to taste out. So you know,
and it's only growing.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's only growing.
Yeah. There's a lot more. There's estimated to be more, you know, people living out here in the next 5 years. So
nice.
It's gonna be a potluck for sure.
No, definitely, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Like, you know, like I remember, that's one thing, you know, that being in the restaurant industry and talking to a lot of chefs, that's one thing that I've like heard that, you know, they wanted to take their experience, what they're doing at their restaurants, and do their own thing. And instead of going the route of opening up a restaurant, a brick and mortar, no, they would just want to do like a nice pop-up somewhere, like to be able to give you what they can do.
I love that. Now, as far as like for your business, Victor, when it comes down to, you know, obviously you mentioned earlier that you had this 5-year plan that you look into to make sure that you're properly aligned with. Now, as far as like growing and just uniqueness or just coming up with ideas, how do you stay informed or how do you stay creative with what you do? Or innovative, you know?
Yeah, to me, I'm a huge player with the flavors, with the seasons.
Okay.
Fresh produce and everything like that affects the pizzas that I put out.
Interesting.
We're doing rotations on our pies, so it's like we'll have our traditionals, the ones that we're known for, but then we want to do something different. Like, you know, what's in season right now? What special could I attract, you know, people with to be like, oh snap, they're like, you know, they're gonna do something to it. So it all depends on what, you know, for me, what the season is. I know for our actual biggest day, Poseidon was our Mexican Independence pizza menu that we made.
Okay.
We didn't have our traditional pizzas, like, you know, the margarita, the pepperoni. No, we had all infused Mexican style pizzas. And I had my take on esquite,
Mm.
with the corn and the hot Cheetos.
Put that on
I
pizza.
put that
They
on a
put that on
pizza.
pizza. They put
I
that on pizza,
I put
guys.
that on pizza, and it's like that was my second bestseller that day. It's
Wow.
like people were just like, "Whoa, what is
What is this?
yeah,
Actually, sounds
it's
good right now. God damn
so
it.
it's we had the chile verde, uh we had the al pastor, we had the asada one. Like, it was just doing something different with a different menu, and it's like that's how that's how we attract people, and that's how we are keeping our clientele
Okay.
by, if you feel comfortable with our menu, here's our menu.
Mm-hmm.
But let me, change it up on you. Let me show
Okay.
you what we can do. What
Interesting.
else we can do. And
There's this notion through business that a portion of your business can be indicated by a sense of action, and one of them through what you're saying is through novelty, right?
Mm-hmm.
People come back through the newness of it, right? Like, for example, people buy trading cards because they want to collect new stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So same thing with food, and I think with even here working with Able's branding now,
Yeah.
understanding the merch game a little bit better, or not
Yeah.
so much, but still, I'm starting to see how it's the newness, it's
Yeah.
the representation, it's the identification, it's the culture, it's the values that really make people say, "Hey, you know what? I want to buy that. I want to try that."
Yeah, no, not to give too much out, but we are working on a breakfast pizza for a coming pop-up event, the 30th of this month.
Ooh.
So it's a breakfast pizza. So we're trying, to be a little creative on it, but I'm just,
Okay.
being honest I'm a huge chilaquiles fan. Like, I love chilaquiles.
Oh
So
man, you keep mentioning food that I love,
I'm
Victor.
like,
I'm gonna have to stop this right
what
now.
if we put that on, like, what if we do that breakfast on a pizza? Chilaquiles on a pizza. It's like, let's make it happen.
Okay.
So it's like, that's the kind of thing that I like doing and I like going for, to be like, I'll make you a good plate of chilaquiles, but you know what? Let me put that on a pizza, and let me see if I can hook you on that.
Wow. I think I'm hooked just hearing about it. All right, I have something to think about now. I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. It seems like you have a really good understanding of your business and the pizza community. Sounds like you're very passionate about what you're doing. For you and your venture with your business, what are you looking forward to? I mean, is there anything else that you're looking to build, or something that you can kind of talk about as far as like building your business?
Yeah, actually, so we are currently thinking of, so we want to incorporate more items to our menu and actually sell more things.
Okay.
And one of them is maybe infused olive oils.
Mm.
Playing with chiles infused oils, like herbs and stuff that we make, that you can exclusively get from the company.
Mm. And then
Just-
are these ingredients usually, what you make are usually uncommon from a pizza make? Okay.
Yeah, like the spicy, we, instead of the regular olive oil, when we add to it to throw it in the oven, we add some of our infused house-made chili oil, and just that's what I mean from uniqueness, to be like, wow, this flavor's unique just to them. I can't find it anywhere else. It's those type of details that makes us unique.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to see how that's possible to expand
Interesting.
that. Our menu as well, our catering menu, to be able to expand it a lot more, to offer a lot more selections on it. But the biggest thing is rebranding the company.
Okay, let's talk about that. We mentioned that a while back, having a conversation
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
right?
Not going too much into details of what the name is or anything like that, but I do want to emphasize that the rebranding has a lot to do with the fact that I want a name that speaks to us,
Okay.
to the culture, to what we do, what we're about, and what we want to do. And that, I feel, is, don't get me wrong, Woodstock Farina has been, great, and I loved it, and it's like, it's my baby, because I started off
For
with
sure.
that, but it's like, again, it goes back to that business plan that I mentioned earlier. That it's like sometimes you have to tweak it. Like once you reach a certain stage of it, you have to look at it again and be like, okay, let's make some changes.
Okay.
And one of them was, you know what are we about? What are we doing? Who are we as a company? And it was a great conversation to have with with my staff to get their opinions, to get their ideas. And sure, it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I love it. Let's make it happen, but let's do it right.
And without spilling exactly what that rebranded name is, can you give a little bit of insight as to where the inspiration is?
Looking at my oven.
Why is that?
Because we cook with an element.
Okay.
We cook with fire. So it's like what we're doing has that taste. It's like it's different when it's different when you say you want a pizza from a Woodfire oven compared to a pizza from just a regular house oven or conveyor belt. It's different. It just has a distinct flavor to it.
Yeah.
And that goes to our entrees that we serve for catering. That goes to our appetizers, anything that we do. So it's like, okay, how can we use that and kind of make that as our standing point or our focal point to what we do, because everything we do in one way or another goes through the wood fire element, the oven itself. So it's like, okay, let's think about this and let's make sure it's right. And I feel like from all the names that we've come up with together and everything like that, we found it. It's there. It's done. It's just tweaking how, writing down the right procedures that we want to take when it comes to the time frame we want to, put it out there, to the whole rebranding from the canopy to the small little details from the table covers to everything. But it's just, that's one big thing that's one big thing that, that's always part of business that means a lot. It's all about the branding, the image.
Identity.
Yeah. And if you have a strong one, even if it's as simple as, as a swoosh on a Nike symbol, it's like the swoosh itself, people know what it is. That's how strong of an identity. And that's what I want, the company, just the logo to be.
Nice. Something
that they could look at and say, that's them.
I love that. Well, thanks for sharing that as far as your, future ideas and where Woodstock Farina, or what it will come out after, will. Obviously, if you guys have tuned in this far, me and Victor talked about this. We wanted to do something special. So Victor actually has something special for you guys that have tuned in. Do you want to share a little bit about details on that?
Yeah, if you guys have kept up with us and our stories, but through our Instagram, we'll keep stay posted on our calendar. We'll shoot out the dates that we're going to be doing our pop-ups. But if you happen to show up to one of our pop-ups, just let us know the word, and we'll hook you up with a pizza.
Okay, cool. So if you guys have tuned in my other podcast, we mentioned keywords so that we know that you're listening. So Victor, what is the magic word?
It's actually two. It's going to be street crust.
Street crust. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why is that? I gotta ask.
Because we're on the street.
I like it. All right, guys. So make sure you guys DM Woodstock Farina on Instagram, so that way, or hopefully it doesn't change by then. Or if you do, no. Actually, you know what? No.
There's plenty of time.
No. See, the way I see this is that once I drop this, which is about 2-3 weeks, or maybe more, hopefully less than I've been kind of struggling with production recently. Just being transparent. It's gonna be about, we could give a deadline, maybe.
Yeah, we can.
Maybe 3 weeks after I drop it.
Yeah.
So that way they can claim it. So that way, if not listening to this from a year from now,
Yeah.
It might be different. All right, guys. So that's gonna be the deal. Speaking of which, by the way, I know you've had the chance to consider working with A Plus, and you know that they're helping sponsor this event as well. They've actually given us a gift that I want to give you. So just something to commemorate your experience here with us here at Voice Podcast and A Plus Branding. So they gave you a little apron with your current brand on it. So before you transition,
awesome.
go ahead and open it up so you can show it to the camera. Yeah, you can take a look at it too. So it's
that's awesome.
It's a heat pressed logo of your
Yeah,
current logo.
dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And here's some
That's
stickers
great.
as well to represent your presence in here.
Oh,
Some
definitely.
vinyl stickers that they've also created for this podcast.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank
or
you so
platform.
much.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate you for going in here and reaching out to us a while back, and we've been trying to put this together, so it's cool to be able to have this conversation, and I take it as a documentation of memories. It's like we could hang out and have dinner, but like why not also distribute that conversation in a very fashionable way.
Well, could I say one last thing though?
Of course.
Like be able to give like just like an end of the day message.
Yeah, actually, before I was going to introduce you, I'm going to have them, give you your handles and all that stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say to anyone out there who has an idea to be able to make some kind of a business, do it. The help is there. It really is. You just need to be able to look for it and ask. But more than anything, just do it. I'm always open, DM, private message, and all that stuff to be able to help guide, not just with food, but with anything. Because the biggest thing that I really, really do appreciate was being able to get that guidance to start a business plan.
Love that.
And that's one thing. Don't get intimidated. Just go for it.
Let's try it in a practical way. And actually, that's what I love about this platform that we created since 2019. It's always been about, just representing others who have been in the place that they've been or where they could be, and they show their past voice so that they know that, hey, that thing is possible. Because I come from a background of like, just, hey, this is the way you have to do things, and that's life. And then I realized there was more to it, and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if other people understood that perspective as well? So this this platform keeps me grounded to be able to represent that, So thank you for sharing that. But okay, cool. I know you mentioned your last page, and then for anybody who wants to connect with you, maybe book you for any future events.
Everything could be done through Instagram. There's our link to our catering page and through our services to be able to book online and everything like that. Price breakdown through what you guys need. So if you guys follow us on Instagram, you get to see that. You get to see our post on where we're set up for the months, our menus right before we do one of our pop-ups, and what else? Other than that, you get to
the
see
handle.
Yeah.
We're
at Woodstock_Farina.
okay. As of right now.
Yeah.
As of November.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this 2-3 months from now, I don't know where it goes. But
No, we'll still be. It's
okay.
If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. And
Okay,
Just make sure that everything's done.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out here.
Yeah.
Finally, Victor. I appreciate you for sharing your voice for anybody who might be able to tune in and hear more about your story.
Thanks.
I'm sure other people can relate. For anybody who has listened there, I hope this was a valuable episode for you, or maybe you gained something, or maybe you just had a little bit of fun for hanging out with us. So I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for our next episode. Make sure you tap in with Victor for any orders or maybe future events, or maybe you just want to get involved in his other pop-ups, and also get involved in his event, the little promotion that we had. So make sure you guys hit him up. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next episode. Hey, Voice community, thank you so much for being a supporter of this platform. Our goal is to establish a platform where we can represent voices that empower others to be more, do more, and have more. We advocate for a message to voicing what matters. Through our platform, we dedicate our content through the voices of creators, leaders, communities, and organizations. We vocalize messages and stories representing aligning values through many people's stories. We want to provide content for others who feel like they have no voice or don't feel like they have a direction, feel lost, lost or need guidance. And through others' voices, we believe that everyone is deserving to pursue a lifestyle that they get to create. We appreciate any support you give to keep our platform growing. If you find value in the content we put out, you can subscribe to our channel or follow us on the podcast platform you're listening to. It really does go a long way, so we appreciate every help you can give us. Thanks again for supporting our platform. We hope to see you guys on the next episode.